Episode 5 of Titans was titled Inside Man, which can mean a couple things. So during this video, we're going to break it down, review it, and talk about a couple references that were mentioned during this episode. So let's jump right into it. Welcome to NonStopAntonio, where I talk about everything nerdy. If you like content just like this, hit the subscribe button for more, and I hope you enjoy this video. The title of the episode was pretty much based off the fact that Connor was an inside man, but also at the same time, there was something inside the man. Because Connor had the snake inside of him once again. Connor was being controlled just like how I called last episode by Mother Mayhem after he was stabbed. And I kind of figured that the magic he was stabbed with and the snake coming out of him, it would all kind of go toe to toe with him being controlled and Mother Mayhem getting into Star Labs to get Sebastian blood. Which I thought was really interesting. And I was right, and I feel good about that. And the episode starts off with showing Connor's not healing from the magic, because I think whatever Mother's Mayhem's magic was going on there, it was preventing him from healing because of his weakness, and on top of it, they probably didn't leave him out in the sun long enough so he could actually heal properly. And that snake that he puked out last episode when it was going through the hallways, like, goddamn, that thing was gigantic. I like when Tim goes after it because he feels useless, like the team, he feels like this is going to be his hero moment, and him and Bernard go look at it, he's like, yep, nope, and they both book it. Honestly, same reaction. If I saw a snake that size coming towards me, I'd make a run for it because that is horrifying. But it's cool that they're using more CG for the snakes, which means we are probably going to get Beast Boy turning into more animals, and we better. Because I wasn't really a big fan of what he turned into this episode, because he actually finally turned into something freaking different. Because after Tim and Bernard get away, we get them meeting with the Titans to tell them about the snake, and Connor's being awfully quiet about the snake, and this is also why I kind of realized that he's being controlled. Because if you were a real team member, you'd be like, hey, guys, I puked up that snake, and that's why it's here. But he didn't because he's being controlled. And I like how Jinx mentioned we should get Samuel L. Jackson to come deal with the snakes, referencing Snakes on a Plane, which I thought was a cool movie reference in this episode. There's also a nice little Superman reference as well with Rachel and Sebastian hanging out, and they had Superman merchandise and also Superman Monopoly. I like how Rachel mentions that she's got to talk to Dick about getting some Titans merchandise, because she's not able to find a mug for herself. And I do like how they're mentioning that superheroes do get, recognition. They have merchandise. And it's very interesting because are the Titans really that big? Like, they've only been around for so long. Well, this form of Titan, not the earlier ones, but this team. So it's kind of funny that they're thinking about merchandise. They act like they've been around for this long time. We've only seen them do like a couple things. They treat them like they're famous in this universe. But I like how when they're hunting down the snake, they're not able to find them, and then Connor finds it, and it sounds like his wound is opening up, and the snake goes inside him, and Mother Mayhem starts to control him even more. And I like how no one's able to stop him because he's Superboy, except Jinx just comes and knocks him out because they've been laying the ground for Connor being weak to magic just like Superman, and Jinx knows exactly how to take him down. And when they had him on the operating table, he was acting all scared, and I actually thought it was Connor, and that Mother Mayhem left him alone for now to go deal with Sebastian and Corey and Rachel, but he was there, and he's just getting manipulated as she goes and tries to control him, and she brings up Hank, and how Dick said that they were going to help him before he died, and Hank's now dead, so just another character that they failed to save that was their friend. And we find out that he's actually cursed, which makes sense. I mean, what else would you call magic after being stabbed and being controlled and all that? Jinx mentions John Constantine once again, because she needs some blue ash. That's a John Constantine special to be able to deal with it, but she can't because she didn't have that on her. And they've mentioned John Constantine twice now. I don't think he's going to show up in the show, but they're mentioning him a bunch, like he's the only magic user in the DC universe. So maybe he is set to appear, or maybe they're just teasing him for a future season. But I doubt it, but it would still be cool if Matt Ryan came back to play another version of Constantine. And I like during this episode too, because we had more confirmation about the Red. Like I've been mentioning it for the last few episodes that Beast Boy is connected to the Red, which connects all animal life and microorganisms together. I like how Jinx is like, oh, that's called the Red. So now they both confirm that what's going on with Beast Boy is connected to the Red. How many times can I say that word? But anyways, I like how they go into it where Beast Boy is like, I can turn into a virus to attack the snake in Connor's body. And I'm like, what? You're going to do what, Gar? I don't know how I feel about this. Even though the Red says they connect him to the microorganisms, which a virus is a microorganism, I don't know exactly how I feel about him turning into a virus. I don't think he's ever done it in the comics. I couldn't find anything about it. I've only ever seen him turn into animals and like other alien animals. So it's just weird to see him turn into a virus. And it wasn't really the first thing I wanted Gar to turn into. But it is a cool way to use his powers, I guess. And we get another Niles Calder reference, which we haven't heard anything about the Doom Patrol in a long time. And he mentions that he can turn into anything that's living. So technically a virus is living, so he can turn into it. It's weird because they inject Gar into Superboy to destroy it. He manages to do it, of course, because, they're going to make sure he can do it. He lives. He's able to turn back in front of everyone, which is kind of weird. But Tim gets a hero moment by taking the snake out with his staff, which was cool. And then he gets the guy at the end of the episode, so him and Bernard are now a thing. Which in the comics, he has a boyfriend called Bernard, so that's cool that they're connecting that in the TV show as well. But that covers pretty much everything for their storyline, because now we have Corey, Sebastian, and Rachel, who left the facility to get away from Connor, and they go to the Elko Diner, which apparently is a franchise, and there's one in Metropolis as well. And it's weird because she uses her powers to go into like a metaphysical plane or something, where she brings Sebastian and Rachel. Now they're in the diner alone with none of the civilians around. And I like how Corey's being told her prophecy, how she's supposed to take out Sebastian before he can take over the world, but she chooses not to do it, and she sees her future with Dick and her kid, which is kind of odd, I still find, since last season, because, we never really see them be a couple. They never really act like a couple. You kind of see them together, they've hooked up a couple times, but I've never really seen them be a couple. So it just feels odd and forced a little bit, even though we all know, if you're a comic reader, Corey and Dick Grayson have gone together. And just like how Dick and Babs have gone together. Dick Grayson has a lot of goddamn relationships. And it's interesting that they're kind of forcing the Corey and Dick Grayson relationship on us without really giving them a lot of chemistry on scene. The actors do have chemistry, and they have set up things here and there. But I feel like with how the seasons have gone out, they just don't feel like they're in a relationship. So showing them their future together, it feels weird to me. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me know what you think down in the comments. But anyways, her whole prophecy is her taking out Sebastian so he doesn't take out the world. And I like how she refuses to do it because take out Rachel in the first season. And then they're like, well, no, you were just there to witness what was going to happen. Your real destiny is Sebastian. It's you guys got to stop changing Corey's destiny. Whatever she's supposed to do, oh, now it's Rachel. Oh, actually, it wasn't Rachel. It's actually Sebastian this entire time. I like how she refuses to because obviously, she's going to protect the innocent dude. He hasn't done anything yet. He's just Sebastian. Real heroes won't kill the villain, especially if the villain hasn't actually done anything yet. But because Mother Mayhem is able to find them, she takes Sebastian and leaves because Sebastian sacrifices himself so Corey doesn't get killed, which, is a nice hero play, but now he's evil. He says the words, and at the very end of the episode, Brother Blood is born. So Brother Blood is here, and it's going to be interesting to see how actual powerful he is, because they're setting him up to be this really powerful being, someone that could ruin the world. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens next, especially because I'm assuming Trigon's still coming back this season, and I'm intrigued to see what happens when he comes back. Overall, I had my mixed feelings about this episode, mostly because I wasn't really a big fan of Gar turning into a virus, but I was interested in Connor being controlled with the magic and his weakness. The whole Corey prophecy thing seems like a complete mess and all over the place ever since season 1, so it's kind of odd to me, but the magic stuff is cool. I'm glad Sebastian is now Brother Blood, and I'm intrigued to see what happens with his character moving forward. What did you think of this episode? Let me know down in the comments. And what are you thinking about this new season of Titans? Because I feel like it is definitely a step in the right direction after some of the previous seasons, but I have enjoyed parts of each season, no matter the kind of rough stuff that goes on during it. I'm hoping the season ends up being really good. I still hope to see some familiar faces later down the road, and I hope that we get to see some pretty cool action scenes, because it's we're 5 episodes in, and it hasn't really done a lot. There's scenes here and there, but we're 5 episodes in, and Gar's only turned into a goddamn virus, and I wanted to see him turn into an animal. An animal! Just an animal. And I want to see them all suit up more. But that's just me. I want to see superheroes be more superhero-y, especially with Titans kind of being all over the place 90% of the time. Thanks for watching this episode. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll talk to you all later.